Hey everybody, welcome back to Let Her Cook, brought to you by BSCN. I am Jackie Dutton, your hostess with the mostest. That's my dog, Boson, and he is also my food inspector, so he might pop in and out just to see what I'm doing today. As always, nothing I say, if it is betting market related, predictive market related, crypto related, nothing is financial advice. These are all my own opinions. Please do your research if you are willing to place a bet or risk your own money. A good rule of thumb, never risk more than you are willing to lose. All right, so to start today, as usual, if you're new here and if you're not, Let Her Cook is just a fun live stream where we talk about some pop culture things, some predictive market things, sometimes some crypto, and we just kind of shoot the shit a little bit. And on Wednesdays in particular, I also cook something. So today we are going to be doing two different things. So if you are anything like me, you have spent the last 3 to 4 weeks cooking, baking, decorating, undecorating, cleaning, and you today are fucking over it. So we are going to make life a little easier. We're going to work a little hard just to make life a little easier for the next couple weeks. So I'm going to meal prep some breakfast burritos, and then I'm also going to meal prep some healthy, because it's the new year, we want to start out trying to reduce some of those Christmas cookie calories, right? So we're going to start out with some orange chicken that is healthy. There's no gluten or dairy or anything in it. And we're going to package it all in meal prep containers, which it's going to take a while, so I'll just show you that with a picture later. But the prep does not take very long. I'm going to do both of these things in the hour-long stream. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to make 10 burritos. And I think we get like 12 to 14 meals out of the orange chicken. So this makes a ton of food. You throw it in the freezer, you pull it out, you heat it up in the microwave, and you just rock and roll and move on with your day. The best part, in my opinion, about this meal prep is that you only use one kitchen appliance and one kitchen dish. So 2 like dishes. Bozo. Sorry, my dog is drinking water like he's never seen water before. So you only use one kitchen appliance and one dish per meal thing. So we're going to use 4 things total today. But my favorite part is that it doesn't consume like cookware. I feel like over Christmas and New Year's, I use like every bowl I've ever had in my house. I use the dishwasher like 94 times. We're going to make this quick and dirty, very nice and simple, and just kind of knock this out with 2 dishes and some very simple stuff. So I am cutting up some sausage for this breakfast burrito. So this particular burrito is going to be like more of like a Mediterranean flavor burrito. You could easily do this exact same step with like potatoes, sausage, bacon, something a little more traditional. But I already have steak and egg burritos in the freezer. So I am just going to use this sausage. This is roasted pepper and Asiago. And we're going to do like a little pesto, a little cherry tomato, and I'm going to add some onions to this. And you just bake this in steps. And the last step that you do is that you throw in your egg mixture on top of this. And then it all like bakes and puffs up very nicely. And then I take a pizza cutter and I cut it into 10 slices. So you get 10 breakfast burritos out of just this one nice sheet pan. So to start, make sure that you have a sheet pan that is about 1 inch thick, because it's gonna need to have a little depth to it so that you can have some space for the egg mixture, because it is gonna puff up a little bit. But I'm gonna get all of this and an onion onto this tray, and we are gonna throw this in the oven, and then we're gonna let this roll. I was not able to do as much of my prep this morning. We were a little behind this morning. But let's see. So I have some fun topics for today. I'm going to scroll up here. Has anybody seen Marco Rubio? He is being dressed up like a paper doll. They used his photo of where he was sitting on the couch during one of the meetings. I think it was with like some of the African nations last year. And he was sitting in a suit. And they have since redressed him in just about every different uniform because he is working like a ton of different jobs. This is like a big government joke, if you will, that he is now heading Venezuela. He's going to have to take over Greenland. He's going to be put in charge of Minnesota. And they also said Hilton Hotels as well after it came out that apparently Hilton Hotels was trying to cancel reservations for ICE agents that were being stationed in Minnesota. So absolutely hilarious. They also have him in a Canadian uniform at some point. The image is hysterical. But I think I was really surprised more than anything, and not to be political, but I think just seeing the sentiment online, especially after all of the news with Venezuela and the capture of Maduro, was actually so much favorable posting, if you will, about Marco Rubio in general. So tons of like popular comments of people saying, wow, this guy has actually really impressed me over the last, week or so, and really over the last year, I think. And I think it's really taken a lot of people by surprise, because if you would have asked somebody in 2019 how they felt about Marco Rubio, they just probably would have laughed. And I think over the last year, to 2 years, people have really warmed to the idea of him, being a pretty good leader. So I actually, I think currently, if you go to some predictive markets, I think JD Vance is picked to win the GOP nomination. But I'm currently wondering if the sleeper candidate is actually Marco Rubio. Obviously, JD Vance has plenty of time. I'm a millennial as well, and I would love to see a millennial in office. But at the same time, I also, anybody under 85, right? Like anybody who doesn't have the changing of a TV remote in their house, kick their ass. Like I would just love to see anyone under, 60 really figure it out. So, I think it'll be interesting to see how far this adoration of Marco Rubio goes. And if we can get to midterms, if we can get to nominations and see if he's still in this really, really favorable light. But so far, I think he's handled a lot of things pretty well. Okay, so to this pan, I have added the sausage, and then I added some onion, and then I'm going to add some cherry tomatoes. I think these have been washed. These are greenhouse. All right, I'm just going to take the stems off these and then wash these really quickly. And I'm going to leave these whole because in the oven, they are going to burst and just have like a really nice flavor left over. So I'm not going to need to chop these. But I am going to take a considerable amount. No, don't roll up my counter. Okay. And then we'll leave that stem out here. Okay, perfect. Let's rinse these off. And then we will put these in here. Try to spread them out evenly just so their juices, get all over the place as evenly as possible. And Then I'm going to throw a little olive oil on this. And for this, I'm just going to use, you could use, a drizzle of it, but I'm just going to use this spray. Same, right? And just kind of quickly make sure that the veggies, the tomatoes, everything gets like a very nice, even coating of this. Okay. And then I'm going to throw this in the oven. It doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect is the enemy of good here. Just as evenly spaced as possible, right? Throw this one down here. Okay. We're going to toss this in the oven and we're going to let this bake. Currently, I have it at 380, and we're going to give this about 10 minutes. I'm actually going to boost this up a little bit. Okay, so I put it on 395, and then I'm going to put this in. I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. Okay, and then I'm going to grab the camera. I'm not waving to, I know this looks bizarre. What is it doing? There it goes. Okay. So let's get to some fun crypto event news-ish in the world of lawsuits. So Drake apparently faces RICO lawsuit charges, Drake and Aiden Ross, by the way, for promoting the Stake Casino. So I don't know if you guys saw the Stake Casino about a year and a half ago. They were really pushing hard. Drake very famously was betting on a lot of games and I think losing. I think at one point it was kind of becoming a thing that if Drake bet on your team would lose. And he was using the Stake gambling platform to do that. So this lawsuit, which was filed in the state of Virginia, alleges RICO charges and which is racketeering and a coordinated collusion kind of thing. And they also allege that the defendants used the site's tipping feature to obscure transmissions of money related to a music botting campaign to boost Drake's statistics on streaming platforms. So not only does this lawsuit allege that they have RICO charges, that there was all kinds of coordinated fraud and bullshit going on the Stake platform, but also his music sucks and the amount of streams that he gets is not legit. Hilarious. Can you sue someone for that? If you're not even one of the streaming platforms, who cares enough? So this is funny. The suit requests no less than $5 million in damages, and it has been filed in the state of Virginia on behalf of people who used the Stake platform. So what I didn't realize until today is that unlike Polymarket or Kalshi or something, where when you deposit your funds, it is just funds, it's crypto, and it just kind of exists within the platform. Apparently the way Stake tried to get around this and why they got nicknamed an illegal gambling platform is because they immediately did some type of one-to-one conversion of your funds, almost like a stable coin-ish, but they called it gold coins. And then they said because you were using the gold coins, you weren't using real money. Essentially, it's like Chuck E. Cheese, right? You put in dollars, you get 4 of the Chuck E. Cheese tokens back. So, in terms of actual money, it was equivalent to a quarter. And then all of a sudden, this didn't qualify as real money anymore because you were on the internet and it was called a gold coin. But it clearly was real money. So I think this lawsuit in particular is really alleging just that the other thing that they're talking about is that Drake, Aiden Ross, and then an Australian content creator, George Nugent, they were passing money back and forth to each other on the platform and making it look like they had won more than they had, or that they had more money than they did. So I think that triggers the RICO thing, because I think RICO has to happen either amongst multiple countries or across state lines. So, I mean, it doesn't look good for them. Anyway, okay. So we are going to start making the egg mixture. And this is also going to be pretty quick and just very simple. We are going to use actual eggs, egg whites, some cottage cheese, and some milk. And this is just going to be kind of like your quiche, like egg type mixture here. Okay, so I'm going to start. We're going to crack some eggs. And I usually buy brown eggs, and then I had chickens for a while until, well, Mother Nature's like really metal around my house. So RIP all of my chickens, but I'm very used to brown eggs, and then occasionally I'll buy these white eggs, and I'm always shocked at how thin the shell of the egg is when I go to crack it in comparison to the brown eggs. And usually that is not a good sign. That means that the chicken was like malnourished. So also, fun fact, the color of the egg is actually dependent on the type of chicken that lays the egg. So if you wanted green eggs, for instance, you could find a chicken that, like a chicken breed, essentially, that lays green eggs. So, and personally, I think a lot of that shit's overrated. I think you just need to find chickens that, you know, they lay a prolific amount of eggs throughout the year. Otherwise, you just have a pet, and it's just, you know, risking its life against the hawks and the foxes outside, because you can't have them inside at all. Have you guys seen that Instagram video of the guy who lets his chicken dictate his trading account? And he like sets up treats for the chicken, and he has like, whether you're trading the Asian, US, or Europe market, and if he's going long or short, and how far the long or short goes. The chicken is usually right. I'm like so blown away by it. I'm not, because obviously like trading is absolutely ridiculous, and it doesn't shock me that the chicken is right. But I'm just letting you know, for all of you with your technical analysis indicators, go follow this chicken, because they probably have a better win rate than you do. And that's sad. Okay. So I'm going to add a half a container of cottage cheese. And leave that to the side. Put the eggs in there. I'm going to add some egg whites just for extra protein. And for this, I'm probably doing close to 3/4 of a cup. And then we're going to add about half a cup of milk. And this is just going to add to like a fluffy texture. Okay. And then we're going to put the lid on, because I'm not about to have this whole thing explode on this live stream. And plug this in. Okay. And I'm going to tell you a super big secret. Ready? Okay, so the mixture is gonna look kind of like a eggnog, oddly enough. And it is, for all intents and purposes, it is kind of a custard. And then we have about 1 minute left on our sausage, tomato, and onion bake down here. So I'm gonna throw some things away. We're gonna clean some things up. And I'm gonna pull a couple things out because we're gonna start on the chicken after this. But the good news is that's it for the blender. So once I pour this over, we're good to go. Let's see. So I saw this clip of it was on Yahoo News, and apparently Ben Affleck's son, I didn't realize he had a son. I thought it was just the one daughter that was like crazy. But Ben Affleck's son apparently asked him for $100 so he could bet on sports. And Ben Affleck was like pissed. He was like, what? He was like, absolutely not. Apparently Ben Affleck's grandfather has like kind of a storied, if not slightly shady history of being a bookie at one point. And he uses this as his justification for telling his son, he's like, why do you think your grandpa is broke? Like, no. And his son fired back with like, oh, well, you know, my friend's parents just give them $100 to bet on something. And then if it's gone if they don't win. And it's like, well, no shit. That's how that works. But I do wonder with all of these gambling apps, and I know you have to submit your ID and I know you have to do all of this, but really, like, how much of it do you think is actually kids getting away with it and either creating an account that their parents are the ones using, or, you know, anyway, all I'm saying is I don't totally believe that it's all people above 18 years old. That's just my own conspiracy theory, if you will. Okay, so I'm going to turn this up because I do want the tomatoes to burst a little bit. We're going to clean up for a second. But I really feel like, you know, Ben Affleck, he's like forever the smoking outside meme. He's just so over it. He doesn't want the paparazzi in his business. I do think that he should be commended for the fact that he is a celebrity. He has more than enough money to give his kid $100 to bet on these sporting bet apps or whatever. And he's still like, no, you have no idea what the value of the dollar is, but you are going to learn at some point. And absolutely not. I'm not just going to hand you $100. So I think, you know, solid parenting move. I really admire that. So it's probably very hard when you have so much to not give your kids so much. But, you know, when they say money doesn't buy happiness, it's like, actually, I think it does, like to a particular degree. But then I think there is a threshold at some point where, like, it's not necessarily that it's complicating your life or making it worse. But I do think it is desensitizing you from concepts like having enough money. And I know we talk about that in the crypto space where people will be like, oh, I made 2 million off this meme coin, but it wasn't enough. It's like you bought something literally with the ticker named shit, and you made millions of dollars potentially, you know, could be just unrealized. Or you did finally cash out and you made a ridiculous amount of money for basically doing nothing. You bought a few $1,000s of something, you waited, and you got lucky and you ran up that money. But for some reason, this like very odd desensitization of the value of the dollar occurred in crypto over the last like 2 years, where people were saying, well, you know, it's not enough. It's not enough to retire. And it's like the goal was just like retirement or nothing. like just zero it out, round trip it, waste it, or we're making 50 million and we are retiring. It's like even the Bitcoiners took a while to get there. I just don't think your 3-month-old shitcoin is going to justify all of that. Okay, so let's take a look here. We are, okay, I can pull this out. All right, so the tomatoes are just starting to, like this one here. They're starting to get nice and soft, and they'll kind of explode like this. So that's really what we want to see. These are hot and slippery. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone, and they will burst within the mixture. Okay, so I am gonna just pour the egg mixture into this pan and make sure that you get kind of like an even level. It should be like self-leveler, right? It should just kind of even itself out. It is a liquid. If you have a Ninja, be very careful when you touch this. This thing is sharp. Okay. Throw this here, and we're gonna throw this back in the oven for, it should take about 20-ish to 25 minutes. And then I will show you how to roll a burrito in a flat way so that it reheats very nicely. I saw a post, somebody was like, are you team round burrito or team flat burrito? If you're reheating it, you need to be team flat burrito because it does not reheat very well when it's round. Okay, now we're gonna move on to this chicken recipe here. I'm gonna build this in my crock pot dish, and you're gonna start with a shitload of chicken thighs. Specifically, a shitload unit of measurement is 3.59 pounds. So, what is that in ounces? I don't know, a lot. Multiply that by 16. And I'm just gonna cut this open, and we're gonna throw, the best thing about the crock pot is that you just like dump it all in. You can also use your Instant Pot if you are impatient and you want to just do the pressure cooker route. There is also a slow cooker setting on an Instant Pot. But we're just going to use the classic today because I feel like everybody has one of these and not everybody has an Instant Pot. Okay. And then I need to actually kind of warm out today, and I'm like dying to get outside. Okay. So we're going to do a cup of orange juice. We're going to do 6 tablespoons of soy sauce. We're going to do 3 tablespoons of mirin, 1 tablespoon of chili crisp, garlic powder, onion powder, and black pepper. So let's start with the liquids. I'm going to do, this is a half cup measuring spoon. So we're going to do 2 of these. I guess I really over-ordered on the orange juice, but my husband will drink it. And let's see, we're going to do 3 tablespoons of mirin. Mirin is a sweet cooking rice seasoning. This is super good if you are doing like poke or that sushi salmon bake. 1. I'm actually measuring, you guys. It's 2026. It's a new year. It's amazing. This is not going to last at all. But just for this recipe, I will measure. We're going to do some soy sauce. which it said 6 tablespoons. We'll see if I have. I also have coconut aminos, which I usually use instead. Let's see, that was 3.5. I might have some dumpling sauce. Fish sauce. Coconut aminos. 4, 5, and then a half. And if you have not seen this next ingredient all over Instagram and all of the recipes, let me change your life. So this chili crunch shit, it is fantastic. I have to give it its flowers. I made a ramen with this. Just lots of different stuff. It has like a really nice flavor. You can season your rice and make like a crispy rice with it. And we're going to do 1 tablespoon of this. So I'm going to use so this is a half tablespoon. You do have to kind of like mix this up because it settles a little bit. But this is just kind of like oil, chili powder. It really does make a dish here. Okay, so we're going to do 1 and 2. All right, and then garlic powder, onion powder, and black pepper. So you have to remember there is a lot of chicken in here, so the seasonings you're going to want are also going to be a lot amount as well. So this is a tablespoon here of onion powder, and we'll do a tablespoon of garlic powder, and then black pepper is a teaspoon. Okay. And then we're just going to mix this up, and then I'm going to throw it in the crock pot. So there is a second half to this dish. So once all of this is done, after 3-4 hours on high or 6 to 8 hours on low, whatever you prefer. If you're going to be gone all day, usually the low setting is better. But once your chicken is cooked, you will take the chicken out, shred it, and then pour the liquid into a saucepan, and you're going to simmer it down so that it thickens up. And to that, you're going to make it more of like an orange sauce. So you're going to add some orange marmalade. You're going to add more chili crisp, some rice vinegar, some honey, and ginger paste. And then to season it up, you're going to add a little cornstarch slurry. And then once that's thick, it truly takes on that like thick texture of an orange chicken type of sauce without flour, without breading the chicken or anything like that. So this, I'm telling you, like one of my all-time favorite, like large meal prep kind of things, true to its flavor, still healthy. You will also want to make some steamed rice to go with this. So I will usually do 2 cups of uncooked rice, and then make that in the Instant Pot or your rice cooker. And then when I portion it out, gonna get this going. When I portion it out to cook it, I got these on Amazon, these little like to-go meal prep containers. They're disposable. You don't feel bad about throwing them out. And then they're not also like taking up your Tupperware time in your freezer, as it just sits there and waits for you to slowly get through your meals and eat it. So highly recommend these. These are cheap on Amazon. I'm sure you can also find these at like Target or Walmart. But this is a savior for meal prepping all of that. And then I'm going to get some parchment paper out for the burritos as well. So this is set up to just go, and the burritos are cooking. Do you see how easy this came together? I mean, two meals, and it's like 24 different, like at least 20 meals here that we're going to be able to feed you, anybody else with. So, because the last question I want to be asked in the month of January is, what's for dinner? Okay. So, some fun other topics here. Football season is over for most teams. Football season's over for Alabama, that's for sure. But in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs are also done. But the real question remains, is Travis Kelce retiring to become a stay-at-home house husband for Taylor Swift? Apparently, he was on his podcast with his brother the other day saying that his only job right now is doing the podcast. So there's a lot of speculation about whether he's actually done, if he's truly retiring. He hasn't made an official formal announcement. But in my opinion, you know, he has the podcast. I think they're probably going to do some like reality show or something. And I think he's probably just kind of moved on from using his body for a living. And I would venture to guess that he's probably done. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see if Travis Kelce stays out of retirement or if he pulls a Tom Brady, because, you know, it's a Peter Pan sport, right? Okay, I'm gonna actually try and get this thing to like zoom out. I did it before. We'll see if I can do this. Let's see if it'll do it. Back up. Will it do it? I look like, if you guys have ever been to something called the Moose Lodge, there is this thing. I just feel like I figured this out. Whatever. We'll work through it today. The good news is you can see my glowy makeup. I'm at the stage where I just like put on more bronzer and I'm just rolling with it. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that CES, which is the Consumer Electronics Show, has started. It's always in January, and it's usually in Las Vegas, I think. So they have released something that has like, I don't know, AI Tinkerbell vibes to me. There is this video that they have actually posted of, it is a desktop AI agent. And it just looks like kind of a little cylindrical glass jar where you put your animated AI. So if you remember, Grok released something called Annie a couple months back. They also have like a little fox and something else. So this little AI agent just kind of like sits on your desk or follows you around. You take it anywhere with you. And we have this video right here. I don't know if you can play it without it screwing up the sound, but it looks so. Oh, the sound's
wakey, wakey, rise and shine. Morning, Joey. You were snoring again. Definitely wear your favorite green jacket. Look, now we're really vibing. Have a good day.
cutie.
Hi, Amanda. Great brainstorming last night.
Actually, I need more.
What if we flip the design here? Do you think it can work?
Nice. I think you're onto something.
Whole day, soldier. We need more air support.
Yeah.
Whoa, clean
Did you see
shot.
that?
Nice one.
Oof. Maybe aim for the head next time? Break line of sight.
Switch to burst fire mid-range.
GG, that was amazing. Ready to go again? This is Project Ava, your AI desk companion.
What will they think of next? Yeah, obviously, I remember when the Alexa came out, and there's elements of it that are kind of cool, right? Like my Nana has one, and if she falls, that's lovely for her to like shout out something about how she needs to call someone to help her. What did we just watch? Yeah, I agree. But then now we're approaching like this AI agent is like aware of the video games he's playing, like what move he has made, telling him what to wear. I don't know, dude. Like we already have a loneliness epidemic, and I just don't think that training an AI bot, a little Tinkerbell desktop AI companion here, is going to like really help. Like this is like that movie Her on steroids, right? You have this little jar. You have, it looks like they have like the Jarvis kind of like sound wave that you can choose. And then you have Annie, you have like an anime looking girl, which already that gets creepy from there. And then you also have the guy version as well. I just don't think the guys are going to do the guy version, right? Especially if you can really start customizing your little AI agent there. Yeah, Project Ava. I want to know like how we went from, oh, we're going to have like home robots to do your laundry, to actually never mind, we're just going to put a scantily clad anime girl in a tube who talks to you on your desk, and she's not real. Yeah, I don't know how we got there. I do kind of like the Jarvis, like just the sound wave looking one. I think that's a little cooler. I don't know how, like I would just feel like such a big loser if I'm standing there talking to, the fantasy romantasy book character here that's like this guy with tattoos. I would just feel like an idiot. But I don't know. There are some people who would be completely fine with this. Oh man. There are some other cool things out of the Consumer Electronics Store as usual, or the show as usual. I think NVIDIA debuted another chip, and they just kind of dominate that market. So I don't think anybody's really surprised there. I'm going to take a look. Oh, perfect. Okay, so we're going to pull the egg mixture out. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. So like I said, this is going to puff up like really nicely. Let me see if I can get it to follow me again. There we go. Obviously this is super. So it has puffed up very nicely, and we've got the tomatoes and everything. This is natural that it's going to fall a little bit. Again, this stupid fucking thing. I swear to God. Let's see. There are commands for this thing. I look like I work at TSA. Let's see if it'll zoom out. If it'll just stop. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, it's like extra fucking zoomed. Okay, so we're going to, I'm actually gonna like stop this so it doesn't follow me all over my kitchen. I'm gonna get some tortillas. Of course it followed me. It's not even fucking listening to me today. Would my AI chatbot solve this if I had a little dude on my desk in a jar? Would he fix my stupid camera for me? That would be really nice. Okay. So you're gonna take the burrito size flour tortilla. It needs to be burrito, otherwise it's not gonna be big enough. These are just the Mission ones. These are soft flour tortillas. If you use gluten-free tortillas, feel free. I personally feel like they don't fold as well. There's some things that are a hit and some things that are a miss. And then I'm just going to do one of these here. I'm gonna flip this over. You're going to want to do this specifically on on the parchment paper, so that you can fold the burrito itself, and then you're going to fold the parchment paper in the burrito. The other thing I'm going to do is we're going to cut as you can see this now, I'm going to cut this into 10 slices. So I'm going to cut this across vertically, and then I'm going to cut this way. If you have small kids, you can cut this in much smaller pieces. You can use smaller tortillas, and you can feel free to make tiny people breakfast burritos. And this is also a really nice time saver for the little chiclets. So I'm just going to cut this in half. And then I'm also going to get out my pesto. And we are going to slice this up here. Don't feel bad about cutting the tomatoes up. That's what they're for. So we're gonna have an extra, like slightly smaller set of burritos here. I'm also going to get out a little feta cheese just to go with this, but that's a preference. I lied, it's mozzarella. Okay. So I'm going to take a spatula and I'm going to pull up one even slice here of my mixture, and I'm just going to lay it down like partially here, if I can do this. And you're going to need to lay it more towards the back. So I'm going to kneel down while I fold this so you can see. Okay, so just folding a burrito is actually super easy. You're going to want to fold in on the sides first, and then you're going to want to fold over. If you want it flat, you need to fold it all the way over and then start tucking in all of your edges. So tuck, 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 and then you're going to want to keep, see if I can do this without looking. You're going to want to keep tucking the other edges and then fold it all the way over. Now you have a flat burrito. Now what you're essentially going to do is fold this. Oh, yay. Now I got it. Okay. Now you're going to want to fold this kind of the same way and then wrap it up in the parchment paper. And there you have a flat burrito. Again, this is the best way if you're going to reheat your burrito. And I recommend the air fryer. It gives like a nice little crisp on the outside of the tortilla. But otherwise, 10 out of 10, really recommend the flat burrito style. And then that way you can just go ahead and reheat it evenly. I love how I got very distracted in this part and forgot the fucking cheese and the pesto. So we're gonna do one more. And I'm gonna use all the ingredients. Okay. But I'm glad the camera's actually showing this now. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you would be willing to use the AI chatbot that way with a little desktop agent. I feel like it's one thing to get an AI script to like check your email, respond to innocuous things, like do something dumb for you. And then it's completely separate to have it be a personal friend. Like, I get it. It's so hard post-COVID to make friends. But damn. Okay, we're gonna spread a little mozzarella cheese. And then I'm gonna take this. And we're gonna tuck this in. My other additional favorite part about this is that the mess in the morning just becomes the parchment paper to unwrap the burrito and not like dishes and dishes. Okay, I'm gonna grab the camera again if it can see me. All right, so that is my breakfast burrito. The orange chicken is in the crock pot. It's been less than an hour, and all I'm gonna do is just keep rolling and wrapping and wrap this right up. So if you enjoyed this recipe, let me know. If you would like the details, the ingredients, happy to post all of that. Especially if you want like an alternative version, let's say a more traditional version. But I also highly recommend the orange chicken. That is Stealth Health Life's recipe from Instagram. He's also great. You should give him a follow. He also does these breakfast burritos as well. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. I think we covered a couple topics here, some fun crypto related things, and then also just some general fun pop culture things. As always, we do a live stream every Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. I am Jackie Dutton, and nothing I say is financial advice, but it comes from a place of wisdom. So just keep that in mind. All right, I will see you guys next week on Monday live at 12 p.m. and we will be talking some predictive markets and some general news and pop culture things. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.